Welcome to BodyWork. Welcome back. It's Michael Rogers. Welcome to BodyWorkBoxing. Dreams and Nightmares. I'm talking about the young Lord Devin Haney and Regis Prograis. Now I'm gonna get into some stats. I'm gonna get into some tail of the tapes, but first I want to say, hey, look. If we're not as fluid as the sport of boxing and the moves and the agendas of the sport of boxing, if we're not just as fluid, then we're stagnant and we won't survive. So I have to move along with the time. With that being said, I often have a lot of criticisms about the Haney camp, you know, and I think that sometimes it actually paints me as if I don't like them guys. And a lot of the times it was really just the antics, some of the things that as a promoter that a father does in Devin Haney, because, you know, let's be honest, in our culture, man, we don't just arbitrarily just hate people for doing well or just hate people that look like us. That just doesn't happen. You know, a lot of things like him showing Tank's mugshot, things like that, I thought maybe that some of his peers or some of the people that rock with him was like, hey, man, that ain't cool, man. I wouldn't want nobody passing my mugshot around. Let's put that all to the side. You know, I often say that Devin Haney, I call him the professor. I have not placed him in my Boxers to Watch collection, even though I have placed Regis in my Boxers to Watch collection. It's just, I've been wanting just a small pivot, shall I say, for Devin Haney in a camp. You know, in order for me to go ahead and put him in my Boxers to Watch. I mean, who am I other than a pure boxing fan, man, who try to keep tabs on boxing and update everybody with the pulse in the sport of boxing. And here lately, man, I can't help but say, man, it's gonna sound like a shocker, but I'm actually impressed with the Haney camp. I believe that them guys have finally figured out that they don't have to be as sensational. I think that they are actually mastering their chess game and how they're moving. And I had said before, because I called it out before when I said that pretty much at the end of the day it was going to be, I thought it was going to be Shakur and Loma with Devin Haney moving to 140. You look back at the videos, I got a thumbnail with that on there where I actually have that up there with Devin Haney, where I say the stage is set, has Bob in the middle, has Shakur on one side, Loma on the other side, and in the background, going out the side door, you got Devin Haney going up to 140. And then I also posted when Antonio Tarver said, hey, ain't no more soft touches, bruh. What you gonna do? Well, I said all sins will be forgiven if we don't get Haney and Tank, if we don't get Haney and Shakur. I said I didn't want him to go up there and get his feet wet. I got tired of hearing about the I can't make the weight stuff and this and this and that. I mean, a lot of the, you know, criticism that Earl has for hanging around at 47. And, you know, I understand. You know, it's tough for these guys, especially somebody like my size trying to get down to 147 pounds or 135 pounds. I mean, I'm 5'10", you know, about the same size as Earl. I could not imagine. I could not definitely imagine being like 2 inches shorter than Devin Haney and actually trying to make 135 pounds. I just couldn't see it. That's why I like when a lot of the young guys, they actually move up, you know, a little fast, closer to their natural weight, the weight that's their projected weight, because they're going to have growth spurts like the young Jahai Tucker when he had his growth spurt. He just decided to just go ahead and jump up and move up. A lot of boxers don't do that. So, you know, I side with Devin as far as, you know, not being able to make the weight. And a lot of my issues, again, were political. Things that you make and things that, you know, most fathers, you know, most people say that they, you know, they like Devin Haney and his father Bill because, you know, Bill do anything. I'm not the kind of father to do anything to make my child successful. There are some kind of boundaries. There are some morals, you know, some morals. And the fact that I live out here in Baltimore, I don't need one of our local heroes, you know, being plastered around online with mugshots. So if we set the politics aside, if we set all of the, he was ducking me and all this, like, you know, with Mikey Garcia ducking him and all that kind of stuff, I mean, if you think about it, him and Lomachenko sold 150,000 pay-per-views. And what the suits are saying right now, as far as why we're not getting Tank and Devin Haney, is because the fight's not ready. Have we heard this before? I mean, look, it's like it's gonna be a 5 years in the making for Shakur and Haney. It's gonna be a 5 years in the making for Devin and Tank. It's gonna be a 5 years. All these guys, you know, we can kind of see the mega fights, the ones with the uber talent and all that, and the timetable that it actually takes to actually get these guys inside the ring. We've just been fortunate in the year of 2023 to get fight after fight after fight. And this one was on the radar. And I put out there on my channel, I said, look, all sins would be forgiven if Devin Haney moved up and fought a guy like Regis Prograis. He is number one. He has the WBC. You know, he's been at the top of the mountaintop. He fought Josh Taylor and lost over there in Josh Taylor's, you know, territory. He lost. He climbed his way back up to the top, and you know, he now has a belt. Well, Devin Haney, being undisputed, says, you know what? I'm gonna go up and see Regis. You know what I'm saying? A lot of the competition and things and moves that we're making, the back and forth with Shakur, which can get exhausting, that's over with. Really, I seen Tank's camp talking the other day. Really, no big deal, no push for Devin and Tank right now. And so I have to actually applaud Devin Haney for going right at that guy. Much like Naoya Inoue when he moved up from 118 to 122 to his 5th weight class, and he wanted to go see Mr. Stephen Fulton, the cool boy, you know, for a unification. Devin Haney is once again, you know, following in that same vein. He's going up to 140 because at first he was going to fight for a vacant. You know, I would have even accepted Rolly because of the backlash and the back and forth and the build up, because at one point in time it was a talk when Rolly and Devin was going to fight. Nevertheless, Devin say, I want all of this smoke. I want all of the smoke. And he's doing it with Regis. And I think part of it was the performance that Zorilla and Regis put on, and how Regis really didn't really look that good in that fight. Even though you can't really judge a fight based on one fight. You know, you can't really judge a fighter based on one fight. But that fight actually set a record. Like, it was like the fewest punches landed. I think it was like 84 or 86 punches. You know, well, let's get into the tail of the tape. You know, they're both 5'8". Regis Prograis actually has a 67-inch arm reach, and Devin Haney actually has a 71-inch arm reach. So he got him by about 6 inches there. You know, and he has grown. I'm not sure if he's still 5'8". He might be about 5'9". I know he's bigger than Bud, about the same size as Bout. I know they're about the same size. They've been the same size. It's just Devin been, you know, having to shrink himself down to make the 135. The age, Regis is 34, Devin Haney is 24, so it's a 10-year gap on that. Regis fights southpaw. This would be Devin Haney's second southpaw in a row, and actually having fought Lomachenko, and you know, Lomachenko, part of the reasoning behind, you know, that fight in which he got outlanded outside of the body work, a lot of people were attributing to him being a southpaw. What does that say? Who knows? Devin Haney fights orthodox, right? They are Regis Prograis. He has about 168 rounds that he's won. Devin Haney has 196 rounds, and they both have 30 fights, with Regis being 29-1 with 24 knockouts, puts him at a 69% KO rate, and Devin Haney being 30-0 with 15 knockouts, put him flush with a 50% knockout rate. So at the rate, you know, even though it's been a minute since Devin has knocked anybody out, you know, he still has a 50% knockout rate, and he's actually going to be stronger. You know, he's not going to deplete himself, which may give him more punch resistance, may allow his power to actually translate a little bit more in this fight. And I think that this is a tricky fight. Why? Because when I look at these fighters, I know Devin is way more active than Regis, but CompuBox, they are very close. In the total punches, power punches, Devin Haney is like at number 4. Regis is at like number 8. And as far as jabs thrown in 140, Regis is like number 7. And in total boxing, I think he's like also like number 4, something like that. So I think they are more. I know Devin, he's actually attributed to being as a technical fighter, but I think, you know, when it comes down to Regis and the evaluation is, people don't realize that Regis Prograis is a lot more defensive than a lot of people would think. Now, if both fighters in that fight was Zorilla, they both landed like 42 punches. But self-admittedly, Regis did get dropped. He said, well, it was a drop, but Regis did also drop him, and he went on to get the decision in that fight. Both of these fighters are coming off controversial decisions, and the scorecards, I think the scorecards was a lot wider on, you know, in the Zorilla and Regis Prograis fight, with one judge rendering a win for, or attributing him as winning for Zorilla, and the other two having very wide margins, a lot wider than what most fans actually saw. I think that this could be a little bit tricky for Devin Haney if he's putting all his eggs in the basket, that's the kind of fighter that Regis is, judging by that Zorilla. But I also think that he actually saw some success. You know, as far as jab, the jab was non-existent, even though Regis has one of the higher outputs, especially at 140. He's like the highest output at 140 behind Jack Catterall in a lot of these cases. And we know Jack Catterall can box. We've seen what he was able to do with Josh Taylor, not getting the decision. But I digress. In this fight, I think that the biggest mystery in this fight is who's going to stay active and accurate in the middle round. When I really analyze Regis Prograis, he definitely has the power to where if he touches Devin right, he can put Devin lights out. He can. Devin has the ability, but I think that he can actually offset, make a lot of people reset, and then the body attack that I've seen, if he's able to do that body attack that he actually put onto Vasyl Lomachenko, if he can do that up against Regis, I think that he can kind of slow him down, even though I think Devin is going to be more active. I do believe that Regis Prograis cannot fall asleep, because that's like the common problem. What I saw with Zorilla, what I saw with Josh Taylor, and those performances that everybody heavily criticized, is that he tends to fall asleep in the middle. He has to stay active. He has to have a corner that keeps him active. And I think Devin, he may do it the same as well. Like after the first quarter, midway into the second quarter, that might be when he's trying to get his win or catch his second win, so he kind of lets his foot off the gas. So I think the key to this fight is who's going to grab the bull by the horns in the middle of this fight. You know, again, I say all sins are forgiven when it comes to the young Lord Devin Haney, man. I've seen 2 interviews with Bill, and I've never seen Bill talk with so much sense in my life. I've never seen him be so respectful. I think he figured out that he don't have to do all that extra stuff. You know, them two, that father and son, they all likable guys. It's just the activity and behavior. Not even really Devin, but a lot of people just attribute all of the negativity associated with Devin as the things that his father say, just being sensational. So I think I'm kind of like burying the hatch. I hope that this fight does move forward. I have seen a little bit of Twitter. I have seen a little bit of social media, these two going back and forth, in that, you know, Regis is saying, come on, man, you know, I signed up for this, what's going on? I signed thinking that he was already on board, and he hasn't signed. Then you hear Devin Haney coming back saying, look, man, just train and focus. You're going to get this work. You know what I'm saying? We trying to figure out the venue. This fool want to fight on the same day as Tyson Fury. Then I see Regis coming back like, look, man, I didn't sign up for that date. You know, who knows? I think some more information got to come out. But right now, you know, it seemed like Dreams and Nightmares, and that's scheduled to go down in October. So I don't know if I'm quite ready to give a prediction. And just like when I actually seen Spence on the scales and after the scales and everything, as far as predicting fighters, I just want to kind of see how Devin Haney is going to look closer to the leader. And we know size don't matter. And I hope that Regis is not going in there thinking that he can just land it. Even though if he do land flush, Regis has the kind of power that can change a whole fight. I just think that it's going to be the activity of Devin Haney that's going to give Regis Prograis some issues, especially getting in, because Regis he seems like he likes to do like one punches. Regis is actually going to have to be a little bit more active, and he's going to have to throw combinations in order to actually win this fight. Even though initially I had Regis Prograis, you know, running away with it, but the confidence and the poise, you know, and the chess plan that Devin is actually, you know, doing right now, kind of got me looking like, Devin Haney, as far as I'm concerned, because I always said I wanted to see Devin Haney fight somebody who he doesn't have the height and the reach and the youth and the size advantage over. Well, he's moving up in weight class, so we can say size advantage no longer, he no longer has that advantage, even though we know he's a naturally bigger guy, it looks like, than Regis Prograis. You know, he's just been shrinking himself down. I just wanted, much like Bout, I just wanted to see him fight somebody more of his size, more of his caliber, just like I think Bout should be fighting at 154, getting ready to fight at 160. I just think that that's the size, because we always see these kind of guys where they actually have the reach, they have the height, you know, and Devin actually has the reach advantage, same height in this one. And we'll see how it goes. That's all I ever really wanted from Devin, and he is seeking greatness by fighting the number one at 140, aka The Road. What do you think about this fight? I'm going to follow it closely. You know, I'm proud of Devin for actually taking a step in the direction that I wanted him to kind of get me off his back. But, you know, who am I? I'm just a boxing fan. You know, he happens to be one of the opponents that might fight my guy in Tank, even though I have Regis Prograis in my boxes to watch. Feel free to check out the Boxes to Watch collection. What do you think about this fight? Who do you got right now? Are you enjoying the build-up? I think that it's gonna get real touchy, but I think right now, if I had to give the edge, I would say Devin, because he's a master at playing back behind the scenes. He's kind of like says everything right when he's in front of the camera. It just builds sometimes. He says some things that are a little bit different, but I think that he got Regis a little bit agitated, and the chess games may have already begun up here in the mind. But I'm going to be following this fight. I'll be keeping everybody posted. I just thought I'd highlight this, man, and I'm excited for this fight. October, it might get real spooky in October, you know, when they lace them up and they glove up and they have to get in the ring, you know what I'm saying, to put down the ones and twos. Anyways, thanks for tuning in here with BodyWorkBoxing. Well, we don't take things for face value. We do that body.